Hello everyone and welcome to Project Resplendent, a series of video where I took a Fire Emblem character and give them a resplendent attire. Of course, there are usually units that do not have such attire. I don't think this video will be out before we get our next Resplendent, but I'm recording before that, so I just really hope whoever they are, they look good. But if the leaks are correct, I already know who it is, so it has no impact on today's star, Henry. Before starting as well, I have a sad news. I did a recording of my ninja summoning session, and I lost the footage. Like, the only footage I have left is me. It's the recording of my voice, so I'm a bit sad. I could try to make something, like to make a video out of it, but I don't know. Tell me if you'd be interested. Otherwise, let's start with our newest Resplendent. Well, our newest Ken-splendent. I don't know how to call them, but today is Hel Henry. We do have a few characters to work this theme, but it was honestly kind of hard because basically Hel's aesthetic is glowy yellow and tatters. So I wasn't sure how to make that work with Henry, combining his original design with that. So it took me some time, it took me some reference, it took me some combination, but I mainly took Mikaye, a bit of Eldigan, Hel, Air, Takumi, and especially Robin on a few things for our next Resplendent. Fun fact, while I'm drawing the sketch for the pose, I think they might go with Nidavellir Henry, to be honest. Like, there are a few things but seem pretty on point. I know Hel is a given, seems a given for him, but I wouldn't be surprised to get a Nidavellir Henry. But right now we are with Hel, and as you can see already, I couldn't refrain from giving Henry a little crown on his shoulder. Usually you see one around Henry, even in this Halloween alt, he has one, so I couldn't resist, right? So basically, my whole idea was making the jello part a bit more prominent than you could actually see with any other characters. To give you an idea, the balance I tried to reach was a bit between Thrasir and I think it was Mikaye. Yeah. So he's going to show a bit of his legs, but technically they are under the glowy stockings, so that should be okay. Also, I gave him that kind of both welcoming and quite ominous look. It seemed fitting for Henry, but I might have gone a bit overboard. I might have overworked the vampire aesthetic, to be honest. But honestly, I'm pretty glad with how it's going to come out. I actually gave Henry heel pieces. They kind of looks like horns, but in actuality it is a nod to one of his cipher cards, where he has this sort of crow head with the wing. So this is what is represented. You'll see that afterward I kept it in the end result. Honestly, it was pretty hard making his color into something that would look like Hel. So you may notice it looks a bit like Heldigan. And I took the kind of claws you see on Resplendent Robin, and instead of wolf claws, I went with raven claws. Actually, it seemed a bit more fitting, a bit closer as well to to the adornments around his usual neck piece. Other than that, there are a lot of details that are just quite reminiscent of what Hel spawns, of what Hel character look like. Kind of spiky, both rounded and spiky aesthetic. The torso I kind of took from Resplendent Robin, but it also reminds me a bit of what you can see on Ares from Hades, the game from Supergiant Games, and I guess it fits nicely in Henry's crowd aesthetic. I tried here and there to put the Grima's eyes, but I couldn't really fit it anywhere aside from the color. You'll see that at the end. But the belt, to give you an idea, this orb, imagine that the orb is held by the claws of a raven. I really tried to, well, I know crows and ravens are not the same, but I really tried to keep that aesthetic, because I thought it'd be a shame not to make it work with Henry. You may have noticed I basically took Takumi's and Air kind of. I wanted to say skirt, but bottom part rather. I also took Takumi's sleeves because Henry have some kind of the sleeves of Henry are a bit puffy at the end, and since we got Takumi as an example, I thought, well, wouldn't be the first time, right? So I guess I could also talk about the cape. Pretty reminiscent of what Robin has. Actually, they both have this coat that ends with a big golden rim, and Mecha translated it with tatters, a tattered robe, white robe. So I went in the same direction. Not exactly the same colors, you'll see later. But here we go, shoes for Henry. A bit similar to what Thracier has, with these few pieces that are not quite linked to anything. Overall, it was a pretty hard design to work with, I'll be honest. It took me some time to find the right balance, but I think with the color we're going to see something interesting. I'll let you tell me. While the few remaining details are put, I guess I can also talk about the next Resplendent, right? I'll put a poll in the description for the next Resplendent. The next Resplendent should be between. Let me just find that. So the next Resplendent will be between Nifl Soren, Liosalfa Salif, Dokhalfa May, and Jotunheim and Nefany. Nidavellir, I'll keep the option for something. Don't worry, it will just close this rotation. Colors, and actually time for the Jello. So the thing is, I took some time to think of the Jello. I actually also asked people on Espera's Discord if any of them had any idea, because at first I was tempted to go with purple, right? It seemed like an obvious choice, but maybe it was too obvious. The suggestion came from Carol Cookie, like some kind of burgundy, slightly red, pinkish red. And you'll see later that it was a pretty good idea, so shout out to them. Actually, right now it's red, but you'll see with the shading, it will look pretty dapper. Actually, fun fact, we have no Hel, whether Resplendents or Generals, that have green, yellow, or orange jelly. Like they're usually between red and cyan. So thankfully, I was tempted to make it Henry green because of his Halloween, of his special art for his Halloween alt. But thankfully, I decided otherwise. And now it is time for a bit of shading. I think if Henry was already looking quite ominous, I made it pretty clear with the shading. So here we are with the shading of the inside, somewhat reddish for the legs, and this, well, I was going to say deep, but bright pink, hot pink core. And honestly, I think that fit him pretty well. I put a bit more of red around the color, and now we're just going to witness the magic of shading for quite some time. I don't know if you can see it actually, but I did put a little a little red flare next to his left eye. That was a bit too much. I removed it afterward, but here it is. Not creepy at all. I'm honestly pretty proud of this one, but the thing is, maybe it looks a bit too ominous for a Resplendent, don't you think? Also for the shading, I didn't, made the shading as elaborate as I could have done with before, but I did put a few hints of color leaking or color of glow, basically, in the interior of the fur skirt, I guess, and the interior and the robe, and that already gives out quite an effect. We're getting close to the end. Again, thank you for giving this series such a warm welcome. I can't wait to see what they're going to do with Henry, because he has a lot of potential. He really does. And I think this is it for this Resplendent. Thank you so much for the suggestion. And again, thanks for the other suggestions, because we have a few characters to go with for the next few months. Don't forget to go to see the poll and vote, so that I know who's going to be our next Resplendent. And until next time, take good care of yourselves, everyone. Bye bye!